Thank you, Shantanuda, also for the very kind words that you used for me. I'm no mentor, I'm only a learner. And I always say that, and today is probably a more appropriate day, being Guru Gobind Singh Ji's birthday. So we say we were made Sikh. Sikh is also Shishya. So it's a prabhansh of Shishya. So we are learners. Probably we are eternal learners. So that's how I really see that. Do we have, yeah. Thank you. Okay, thank you. So let me just get into, this straight away. And we have a lot of digital partners that I can see. And it's very, very difficult for me to really be speaking about, digital. But I'm basically trying to speak how digital or Gen AI is impacting CFOs and what CFOs have to do and try to give my 2 bites on that. So we always, say that we live in a VUCA world. It has never been truer. We have been probably using this term for last 10 years, But has it changed? Has the volatility changed? Has uncertainty changed? The complexity or, the world being ambiguous changed? No. So constantly we have to really work on this, have the right vision where we can go beyond the volatility, have clarity of thoughts where we can put in all these kind of jigsaw puzzles and work through the uncertainty. We always say problems are complex, solutions are simple. So try and see how we can simplify, life, simplify the work. And of course, today, unless you work with agility, unless you are working, you have to really do everything running across. I talk about 4 trends. This is what I've taken from McKinsey, and these 4 trends have shaped what businesses or business models are like, in last few years. So we see there is more connectivity. We say that there is unprecedented automation which has taken place in last few years. The transaction cost has become very low because of input of technology. So each transaction that used to go through layers, now since those layers are out, so the cost has come down. And then there is a fundamental shift which is taking place in society. The way current generation is thinking is completely different from what the older generation was. In the morning, we had a session here itself where Mr. Kapoor from Swiggy was talking about how generations are, taste of generations are shifting. So he was very interestingly talking about kitchen habits. The new generation, the younger generation, they don't want to go into the kitchen and, probably they go into the kitchen on Saturdays and Sundays as a hobby. And that's what is pushing their product. That's what is creating a new market. Do we understand that new market? Do we understand those new trends? And how this is unfolding a completely new generation of ideas, completely new business models? That's something that we have to really think about. The other thing, Shantanu made this much easier for me to talk about Gen AI. So generative AI, in fact, McKinsey again came up with this report, or this was from EY actually speaking, only a couple of days ago. And this is called the AI idea of India. I think you should just read it. It's a very interesting report. And I've just picked up only a few parts of it, where they did a survey and they said 3 out of 5 respondents, said that Gen AI is having a significant impact on their business. I mean, we all understand. McKinsey said that AI, generative AI, is #1 choice for CEOs today. And why not? And I see that all across. how this is impacting my business. Disruption has become a word, which is more common and usual. So we say disruption as usual. So how do you really talk about, and understand these disruptions and work, through them? We always said customer experience is the single most important fact that Gen AI is expected to impact. Now we do whatever in technology or business. What is the purpose of the business? The purpose of the business is primarily to satisfy a need, primarily to satisfy a customer. And today, with generative AI, probably you can think of disrupting the kind of customer experience that you want to give in your business. And this is something which would be a maker or a breaker. This is something that could really give you a competitive edge. As I was talking about connected world, in 2019, the ratio of connected machines was 35 billion. So 35 billion, and then of course, you go across, all these years, and which has doubled. So which is, at 35 billion, these were 4:1 for every one individual on this earth. There are 4 connected machines. And what is not connected today? I mean, if you really look at just a few, maybe an hour ago, I was just listening to a speaker where he was talking about a connected car. If your car is getting stolen, you could probably, stall that car, right? So all these, and there are, you have equipments at home which are connected. Of course, your phones are connected. Every time we go to, the business and we give this machine, which is called a mobile, and this is connected in so many ways. Right? So how does this connectivity impact? How does this connectivity creates new business models? I think this is something which has given, birth to a lot of platform kind of, businesses or, anything as a service. So whether it's software as a service or hardware as a service or all these kind of, things as a service model. So you look at that. And then analytics is something, that we talked about. Today, we have gone beyond what we used to say MIS. MIS is dead. MIS is passé. Today, I want information on the go. Today, we want a real-time information. As CFOs, you are interested not only to have that real-time information, you want to give real-time information. And that's what is democratization of data. So what if my person, in the real estate company that we have, if we can provide the man on the street, my salesman on the street, if we can provide him data that he can work within a particular, range, he can take all the decisions. He doesn't have to go back and say that, I'll go back and check with my management or check with somebody. So you have the information where it belongs, where it is essential. Somebody who needs the information needs to have information. And this is quite far away, from the kind of, especially all of us have been guilty of that, especially the older generation, people, feeling power in having data and having that data in our pockets and not sharing with people. Because at that point in time, we would say, since I have the data, I'm more powerful, and people have to come to me to get the data. I think this is a breaker today, a biggest, breaker in that sense. Another, report from McKinsey talks about 10 unsung digital and AI ideas shaping business. So what are these, he says builders are eating the world. There was Mark Anderson, word that software is eating the world, right? actually, what are we doing with this software? Are we building something which is useful, which is productive, which is something of value? So when you do that, that is where, and this is exactly where GenAI can help you out, is helping you out to create and build those businesses. And secondly, I think it is very important that not only you create that business, how do you scale that? So let's say innovators take the biggest space on the front pages, but market is won by the scalers. So whenever a new technology comes, creates a splash. But ultimately, it's the person who can scale and go through, those fangs of, when we say that he fails or he goes ahead of those failures. That's when, he creates an impact. We talk about leaders, master the digital Moore law. So what is Moore law? There was a Moore's law. A Moore's law was, in integrated chips, ICs. Every 2 years, the signals double. So Moore law is exactly how can you take advantage of these technologies to have a compounding effect. All of us as chartered accountants or financial people have heard of compounding impact, how to make 1 crore. Then this used to be a very simple example we used to give investments. So how do you really use that compounding effect and use the technology to work together? The other thing is there is nothing called permanent, especially in this world. We talked about VUCA. So therefore, you have to keep disrupting yourself. So how do you keep disrupting yourself? How do you keep... So what I really say is reimagining yourself and reforming yourself. Not only reform, but reforming completely. What sometimes we call transformation and sometimes we call metamorphosis. And metamorphosis is creating something completely new from whatever it is. Transformation is still something that you go, you leap ahead on this. So how do you really go ahead, doing this? As CFOs, it is very important for all of us to really make sure that we design our digital strategy and tailor this towards the capabilities, the technology is giving us. And this is synthesized with the business goals. How do you bring your strategy, digital strategy, which is talking about the business goals? What are business goals? So you understand what is it that we started with. When we started the company, what was the purpose? We call it the higher purpose, or, how did we start? And what are we doing now? That kind of check should come. You should be doing that check very, very constantly. Of course, customer experience we talked about takes another important thing is where to spend. So when we spend, is it really making an impact? And it is absolutely very, very important for all of us to really understand that at the end of the day, our responsibility is to make sure that we bring value to every rupee, that is spent in the company. So how do you really get that value? How do you align this to not only the current business model, but also the expected business model that you're going to have, a few, maybe sometimes later? So how do you design KPIs which work towards this and tell you what exactly is that you're looking at? What is the unit economics that you look at? What are the operating margin considerations? So as you have to marry the financials with the technology and make sure that whatever we do makes sense financially also for us. Sometimes it is the people, they need to learn, and for learning they need to unlearn. So unlearn, relearn, upskill, or, so sometimes it is learning to learn is probably today a much, much bigger requirement, You have all those, performance metrics that you want to bring in, and make sure primarily every penny that you are spending is coming with an ROI. So that's something I am leaving you with a few questions. Of course, I'm not going to read these questions, but these questions are very important and tailor around, the discussion that I've had, in this. Thank you very much. That's all from me. Thank you.